Hi, I'm Joe Walensky, and I'm the program manager for ConveyUX, which is Seattle's annual user experience conference. We've done it for the past 6 years, and we're doing it again. That's coming up March 11th, 12th, and 13th, and that's produced by Blink UX. And I get a chance to talk with the presenters that will be part of our program. And today I'm talking with Leigh Allen-Arredondo. Hello, Leigh. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Joe. Thanks. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, well, I'm talking from the Blink main offices in Seattle on the waterfront. Where are you talking to us from?
I am in my home office / recording studio, which is where I record most of my podcasts.
Well, that'll lead us right into the first good thing to talk about, which is your background and your podcast and all the types of things that you're involved with now.
Yeah, which is a lot. I'm involved in a lot of things. My background, though, I'll start there. I have been in UX for over 20 years. I've been designing digital experiences for software, web, apps, and as well as leading teams in companies large and small, from Getty Images to Amazon to startups. I also put in several years as a consultant, including with Blink. So I've been privileged to both work for Blink as well as hire Blink, so it's super exciting for me to be involved in ConveyUX this year. I am currently leading UX and product at a startup in Seattle called Spruce Up, and I am also the host of the UX Cake podcast.
Well, so I listen to your podcast. There's always great conversations. Why don't you talk a little bit more about that and where people can find it, and some of the people that you've had on there and will have in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. It is uxcake.co is the website, but you can find the podcast anywhere except Spotify, pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. And thank you for listening, and I really appreciate getting feedback from listeners. I'll sort of give a little bit of the background. In February of this year, after thinking about it since last year, I guess, I have been active as a mentor in the UX community for a long time, and was actually participating in a mentorship program with a group called Hexagon, which is mentoring for women in UX, and which happens often in mentorship programs. There are always more people who want mentoring than mentors are available. I actually led up the design mentorship program for a while at Amazon and found the same thing to be true there. So, I started thinking about what are the ways that I could potentially amplify the voices of those many very experienced UX pros that are out there for other folks. So instead of kind of this one-to-one, we've got more of a one-to-many kind of peek into the conversations that I get to have with other UX pros, because I've got a wide network of people that I know in the community. So I wanted to make that available to other people. UX Cake specifically is a topical podcast about more of the soft skills that we need to develop to be more effective in our work and in our careers. Kind of the conversations that often happen in mentoring, or even just in casual conversations with other design and research professionals. And that's sort of where that came from. The kinds of people that I talk to range. It's global. I am very excited when I get to talk to someone in Dublin or England, as well as, let's see, where else? Sweden, Israel, and Seattle, and other states in the United States. So, and the listenership the audience is global as well. So that's very exciting also. Some of the topics that we have covered include working more effectively with across teams. That seems to be a really common theme that comes up a lot for people who are trying to be more effective in their work, and finding that it can be difficult as a UX pro to work with developers and product managers. Some other things we've talked about are specific to consulting. My former business partner and I did a couple, sort of a short series on becoming a freelancer or doing consulting, because that also comes up a lot. That was actually a very popular episode, a couple of episodes. And then more recently, I think it's been a wider ranging. I have one coming up that's UX at startups. So that was sort of topical to me where I'm at right now. And then one recently that I love also, well, I love them all, but has been about creating more diverse teams, and how can we create an inclusive environment, and also, how that affects us as designers. How can we be more inclusive in our design and research practices?
Well, I've always found the topics and the guests to be very interesting, and so your talk at the conference actually is going to be your show, which I think is going to add an interesting dynamic to our program, where you're going to be essentially bringing together a panel of people that will be on stage in one of our conference meeting rooms, and you'll just be doing it there with a live audience. I have that right?
Yeah, it's a live podcast recording. It'll be edited and then broadcast as a podcast episode. I have done a couple of these already, and it's really fun. I love doing the interviews, of course, but I also really love interacting with the audience and getting live questions, and sort of understanding what it is people want to hear, and sort of issues they're struggling with. So I feel especially lucky to be part of ConveyUX and get access to your wonderful panel of speakers, because there are so many interesting people to talk to. It's going to be, very hard to narrow that down to a small panel. But I think I actually did a little bit of very informal survey to find out what sort of topics my listeners would be interested in hearing. And something that came through quite often was around this theme of influencing without authority. And so I thought that would be a really interesting sort of discussion to have with a wide variety of people talking about it, because this really pertains to anyone, whether you're an individual contributor or a manager or a consultant. We often find ourselves in these situations where we need to influence maybe something that's larger than UX, that is like the business policies or business objectives, schedules, and development and product management. So so that's a really common theme in mentoring and coaching, I've found as well.
Well, we'll definitely add all the details as you get that together, and we'll look forward to having that part of the program. And so thank you for taking the time to do a little preview of your session, your podcast at ConveyUX, and we'll see you at the event in March.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. It was nice talking with you, Joe.